Right, good morning, welcome back. Okay, Harley Davidson servicing procedures. Today, if I may, I'd like to cover something very simple that comes up every 5,000 miles. So every single service on your Harley Davidson, and that is the steering head bearing fall away test. Now, it's a bona fide check. You have to do it every 5,000. Every 10,000, it needs a little adjustment. So I'll show you how to do that as well. And every 20,000, it gets even more involved, which is why your Harley servicing costs as much as it does. Right, so first of all, just a simple check on the fall away of your steering head on your Harley Davidson. So let's show you on my bike just how to check it first of all. The fall away test. All it is quite simply testing or checking how your steering falls away from its central point with the wheel off the ground. So as you can see, I've set my bike up on a little bit of a lift. It must be absolutely upright and with the steering dead in the center. And to do the fall away test, all we do is push it one way and see at what point it falls away on its own. That is as simple as it is. Fall away test. Now, before we can actually measure it accurately though, we need to set up a very small and very simple apparatus to give us a measuring point, because actually, believe it or not, in the Harley Davidson service manual, the fall away that you have on your bike, it is measured. It isn't critical, but it has to be reasonably within a tolerance. So we need to set up a little bit of tape and some marks so we can measure that tolerance. So let's do that first. Right, as you can see, pretty self-explanatory, isn't it? You need something on the ground, a central fixed point, can be anything, axle stand, anything you like. This, I've got an old paddock stand with a line drawn on the top, and then I've got a piece of tape on the mudguard with a line drawn, and I can line the two up. That's the central point. Find the balance point of the bars, roughly where they are, so the steering's more or less in the center. Line up your reference point with it, and then we've got, as you can see here, 1 inch marked either side of the central point, which is my maximum tolerance that I'm allowed before it should drop away. And I've marked an extra inch outside because I think this bike's going to be a little bit stiff and probably fail the test. From the center point, 1 inch, no drop away, 2 inches, just about. Come across, 1 inch, not dropping away, 2, nope, 3, still not dropping away. It's about 4. So I've got roughly 4 inches this side and 2 inches this side. I've got a 6 inch wide pinch point on this particular steering head, and it should be no more than 2 inches. So as you can see, it's way out of tolerance, and that needs to be adjusted. You take the measurement one side and the other, you add them together, and that is your overall pinch point, and it should be 2 inches, not 6 inches as this is. So let's show you how to actually adjust it. It just takes a minute. Okay, tapered roller bearings in the headstock of this particular bike, and to adjust them and relax them apart ever so slightly to give myself the correct drop away, all I have to do is this. Firstly, remove the dress cover from the top nut. Big centre nut is held in place with a folded washer. So just take a chisel, tap that out of the way. 1.5 inch socket, and just back that nut off. Next, release the pinch bolts on the bottom yoke. The bottom yoke, or triple tree, that's holding onto the fork leg, and we need to be able to move these two yokes independently of each other. So we've released the nut on the top one, that lets the top one move, but it won't move, nothing will adjust until you release these pinch bolts. So it's the two bottom pinch bolts on this particular bike. It does vary, but I'll cover that all at the end. So just back them off till they're nice and free moving, so they're not pinching on the fork anymore, both sides. Okay, I hope you can see in here clearly this little toothed wheel inside is the adjuster ring for the Dyno Wide Glide, and all we have to do with a little drift is just get in on that and tap that round a little bit, probably about a 1/16 of a turn, just so it backs off the pressure in the tapers a little bit. Righto, quick test. Awesome. Fall away, fall away. Absolutely lovely now. That's falling away, bang on the 1 inch mark, much more fluid now, much happier with that. just tiny increments at a time as you saw. A few taps, half an inch rotation and check it. And lucky for me, first time, it's absolutely bang on. I wouldn't want to adjust that off anymore. Now, all I've got to do at this point, yes, it's adjusted right, but I've got to check it after it's all been locked back up again because that's still all backed off. Okay, final test. Lovely. Right, so there we are. Harley Davidson service manual says steering, head bearing, fall away test, and that's how you do it. As simple as that. Go and get yourself a manual because the test itself is the same on practically every Harley. Nothing's different, but the adjustment might be different on your particular bike. And that's just the anatomy of the yoke itself. The top tree does need to be adjusted differently on a Sportster to a Dyna Wide Glide. Some you adjust by opening the top pinch bolts and some on this bike, the bottom pinch bolts. But the procedure will be laid out blow by blow in your manual with torque settings and tolerances and everything you need. Simple as that. So I hope that helped you out. Follow your manual, make that investment. You won't regret it. Thank you for watching. Take it easy, ride safely. And I'll see you next time.
Born in 46, raised up in the sticks, somewhere in North Carolina. He spent